Gold is killing luxury watches. Luxury watches were supposed to be timeless. Now they're headed to the furnace. That was literally the business model. They sell you a machine that tells you time and they convince you it's actually an heirloom, an investment and a personality. But right now, some vintage luxury watches are being seen as particularly complicated gold nuggets because gold prices have gotten so high that people are melting down vintage watches for spare parts, which is a bit like buying a first edition of your favorite book only to use it as kindling because firewood got expensive. Gold prices have been on a roller coaster ride. Investors worried about economic uncertainty, inflation, geopolitical chaos have piled into gold, pushing prices close to historic highs. And when gold gets expensive enough, strange things happen. For decades, luxury brands sold solid gold watches as status symbols. It wasn't just a watch, as I said, it's a personality. It was craftsmanship. Unfortunately, the market has its own plans. Take a late 1970s Omega Constellation, the kind of thing a brand would lovingly place in a museum exhibit titled A Legacy of Excellence. But when a dealer ran the numbers, the gold inside was worth about 35% more than the watch's expected auction price. At that point, you're no longer selling a watch. You're selling a very inefficient gold bar that happens to tell time. And into the furnace it goes. The watches most at risk aren't the ultra-exclusive grails that collectors fight over, Rolex, Patek Philippe, and other tightly controlled luxury brands. They generally maintain values well above their melt price because demand massively exceeds supply. Some Rolex waiting lists are so long that you could join one, have a child, teach that child how to ride a bike and still not have your watch. But brands like Omega, Breitling made far more watches over the years. Many are respected, attractive, historically important. They're just not rare enough to command huge collector premiums, which creates a brutal equation. If the watch is worth $8,000 as a collectible, but $10,000 as scrap gold, the market doesn't see heritage. It sees a $2,000 opportunity. And that is the uncomfortable reality of luxury goods. We like to think value comes from craftsmanship, history, storytelling. Markets prefer commodities. The result is that perfectly functioning vintage watches, objects that survive decades, fashion trends, changing owners, are now being dismantled for raw material. And once they're melted down, they're gone forever, just liquid gold. What's happening to luxury watches is a reminder that value isn't fixed. A watch can spend 50 years being admired as a symbol of elegance and craftsmanship, but when gold prices get high enough, one is forced to face the harsh truth. Nice history, shame about the opportunity cost. Because in a world obsessed with assets, gold becomes more valuable than the story wrapped around it. When the price is right, even heritage and luxury become raw material.